Hello and welcome to my channel. We recently got a new home and I've been thinking about installing an accent wall for quite some time. Specifically, I've always wanted a wood slat wall. There's just something so elegant and luxurious feeling about a wood slat wall, and I think our home gym space would be the perfect area to install one. So my thought is to install the wood slats on this entire wall here. And of course, no gym is complete without gym mirrors, so those will go right on top of the slat wall. Now I was ready to start ordering away until I realized how insanely expensive a wood slat panel was. If I were to purchase this, I would need about 3 of these panels, which would cost me a whopping $750 plus tax. Even a peel and stick from Amazon like this one would have required 3 orders and would have cost me $450 plus tax. On top of that, an oversized gym mirror with the dimensions of 4 feet by 6 feet would have cost me over $400. Alright, especially just after buying a home, it would not be financially responsible of me to pay that amount of money for just wall decoration. But I really want it. So the cheap Asian in me thought, challenge accepted. I knew I could definitely do this for cheaper, but how was the question. And so naturally, I immediately went onto third-party seller sites like Facebook Marketplace to look for wood slat panels and oversized mirrors. I did find oversized mirrors, and at absolutely free. I seriously got so lucky to find these huge mirrors. They were not the same size, but I mean, who cares? They're free. I'll figure that out later. But now researching for slat wall panels. Even at wholesale prices at $75 a panel, I would need about 5 panels, which would cost me around $375. Again, the cheap Asian in me thought, I could do this for cheaper. And that was when I decided I could make my own wood slats and just nail them to the wall and bam, slat wall. And my goal now is to do this below $375. So I'm researching the materials I need, and when I say research, I mean ChatGPT. I found that oak, a hardwood, is the best choice but has the highest price point, while pine, a softwood, is a budget-friendly choice but results may vary, as in it may not absorb the stain very evenly and could come out looking very blotchy. So of course, I'm gonna go with hardwood. I already know that I want my wood slats to be a thickness of a half an inch, and I found that Supply on Time here in Southern California is selling a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of hardwood at just $50. To save me even more on cost, I'm actually going to install the wood slats around the mirror. Since my oversized mirrors are going to be covering the majority of the wall, it doesn't make sense for me to do the extra work of cutting and staining wood pieces that are just going to be hidden behind the mirrors. So with that in mind, I should only need 1 sheet of 4x8, and with their delivery fee of $30, which delivers right to my house, I'm looking at a total of just $85. That is definitely cheaper than $375. But of course, I'll need to stain the wood, and I'll also need to paint the wall. For the size of wall I'm painting, I'll probably just need 1 gallon of paint, which would cost me about $25. I plan to paint the wall a dark gray, and I actually have leftover paint in the garage, so I'll save on that cost. Next thing I'm thinking about is staining. And man, there is a lot when it comes to staining. There's oil-based stains and water-based stains, as well as pre-stains and a finish coat. Those are the 4 main things I'll need to consider when it comes to staining. Okay, so let's break it down. So pre-stain is something you'd apply on the wood before you actually apply your stain of choice. And pre-staining will make a huge difference in how your stain dries on your wood. However, if you're using hardwood like oak, it makes less of a difference and can almost be unnecessary. The sheet of hardwood I'm getting actually isn't oak, but something called sand plywood. I couldn't figure out how this hardwood takes up stain, so to be on the safe side, I'm going to be applying a pre-stain before actually staining. Next is water-based stain or oil-based stain. Based on my research and how wood takes up the different stains, both oil-based and water-based stains will show the grain. But oil-based stains looks like it'll do a little bit better of a job enhancing the wood grain because of how it penetrates the wood. So if you really like that deep wood grain look, oil-based stains would be the way to go. But oil-based stains is a little bit more of a hassle to work with. Here's a breakdown between the two. For oil-based stains, the pros are that the stains penetrate deeper into the wood and so enhance the grain pattern better. It has a long dry time, which gives you more time to evenly coat it, and because it takes a bit longer to dry, it gives you more time to work with, and so is a bit more forgiving. The cons are, because it has a long dry time, you can't finish the project quickly. It'll need 24 hours and up to 72 hours to fully dry and achieve best results. Also, because it's oil-based, you will need to use a special solution like mineral spirits to clean your tools with. It has high VOCs, which means a strong smelling odor, so you'll need to work in a well-ventilated area. And if you go with lighter stains, it tends to yellow over time. On the other hand, for water-based stains, it'll still show off the wood grain pattern, but because they penetrate the wood differently, it's slightly less intense. They have a fast drying time, so good if you want to keep moving on your project. They also have low VOCs, which is great for indoor projects, which this is. It's much easier to clean up because it's water-based, you just need soap and water. And water-based stains also have less yellowing over time. The cons are, water-based stains will raise the grain a little bit, so for best results, it's best to sand in between coats. And because it dries fast, it's less forgiving when trying to apply an even coat. All things considered, water-based stain sounds like the stain for this project. And I'm going to go with a transparent stain so that the wood grain will show through. If you go with a solid, it applies like paint and covers a lot of the grain, making the wood look more muted. So that's not what I'm looking for. Finally, the finish coat. This is applied after your stain has fully dried, and its purpose is to protect the wood and lock in the color. It helps the color look more consistent throughout and keeps it from fading over time. This project is going to be installed indoors where it won't get very much sunlight, if any at all. So I'm not too concerned about fading, but just for good measure, I'll still apply a coat of finish. Okay, so that's all about stains. If we add all that up to the current cost of wood at $85, we're looking at the water-based pre-stain at $20 per quart, a water-based stain at $25 per quart, and a polyurethane finished top coat at another $25 per quart. So with all that added up, I'm looking at about $155 in total cost for my slat wall. I might buy some other materials like finished nails to install the wood slats to the wall, and a staining pad to help me evenly stain my wood slats. Those items are relatively cheap, so I'll call everything together to be $170. That's definitely less than $375, and so all that's left is to go get everything and start this project. Okay, that's all I have for this video. This wood slat DIY is going to be a series where I take you through the whole process of doing this project. So if you're interested, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button so you don't miss my next video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.